Hello, and welcome back to the Painscreek Killings. I spent some time uh, off the recording, going over my videos, going over those 3 episodes that I've made so far, and I tried to organize my notes. I tried to establish a timeline of events, starting from the year 1971, when Vivian and Charles got married, and ending with 1999, right, when Janet arrives to Painscreek. Um, so my leading theory, at least in the events of the 70s so far, is that Vivian, well, she had miscarriage. After that, she had Trisha, but after that, she wasn't able to bear any child anymore. Meanwhile, roughly at maybe the same time, Charles has an affair with Sophia, and she gets Scott. Now, perhaps Magdalene, Charles's mother, wanted because she wanted male heir. She preferred the idea of Scott being an heir, even though he's born out of the wedlock, to Trisha being an heir. Obviously, Vivian is not cool with that, because that would leave Vivian outside this heritage boat, as well as it will screw over Trisha. So together with the doctor, got the name. It's written somewhere, but I wrote it illegibly and very small in a small font, so I need to actually bring it up. Anyway, the point is, together with the doctor, she comes up with a plan. Doctor provides the means, and they get rid of Magdalene. Also, roughly at the same time, maybe Vivian uses the doctor and Andrew to do something with the Sophia. Maybe they think that they killed her, but the point is that Scott is orphaned and sent away. But in 85, Father Matthew of the Painscreek Trinity Church adopts the child. He comes back. He starts to pick up work and stuff around the town. And either Andrew, in his drunken fits, he was drinking because he has a lot of guilt of what he did. But it was also the reason why Vivian kept him, because in his employee file there was a note that Vivian trusts him a lot. So maybe in his drunken fit, Andrew mentions Sophia. Scott is interested. Scott feels that Scott maybe somehow makes a connection that this might be his mother. Maybe something else is afoot. I don't know. The point is, he starts to ask questions around, and eventually Dorothy, the head servant, shows a photo album, and perhaps he recognizes his mother on one of the pictures. Maybe that also leads to him into spying on Robert's family, because he was observed by the ground staff that he's peeking through the windows. The thing is, how Charles was not aware that Scott is actually his son, because I believe Charles is aware that he has a male heir. I mean, it's been 20 years, roughly, so he probably does not recognize the boy. Though Vivian does, because I believe that is why she is deeply against the relationship between Trisha and Scott. Then interesting events happen that Vivian learns about doctor embezzlement of funds. A few years pass, then The doctor suspiciously drowns. Obviously, Vivian has something to do with his death. I'm ironclad convinced in that. Then somebody kills Vivian. Scott is suspected, being investigated. Goes to the final court date in October, and shortly after in November, he dies. Yes, and also in the same year, Trisha dies. I don't have the date of her death though, and that slightly bothers me. I mean, talking about threads that are unanswered and have no idea what's going on. The missing kids. We know that at least 2 kids went missing. One went missing in '89, another went missing but shortly found. Then there was a note in one of the diaries of Bernard hurting his left hand. Left, I believe? Anyway, yes, left hand. And then what else? The mystery case of Mary Martinez not having a photo. For the brief moment, I thought that maybe Mary Martinez is actually Sophia, which is why Andrew was tripping when he saw her here and there. But then it's either that she lied about her date of birth or provided false documents, because her date of birth is specified as 73. The year of birth, 1973. So she's obviously too young to have Scott as a child. So it's either not Sophia or she lied about date of birth. But it's funny that there is no photo of her. Because what if her photo is the pretty lady with a long dark hair as like one of the missing child, the one that was found later, was mentioning. Anyway, these are my thoughts and considerations so far. And now we are in the manor, in the study. There is some sort of a secret room. And we have some more paper clippings. We have... yeah. It is Sophia. Of course it is Sophia. Did we not have a photo? Yes. So this was a photo in the car of the private investigator. And she holds all the answers. And of course it is Sophia, a girl with a long dark hair. She used to be a maid, so she might have held her uniform. She helped the child find her way back. And it will also explain why all of the maids were accounted for, because Sophia was not on the roster at that time. And would also explain why Andrew was tripping, because he actually saw Sophia. Maybe they either didn't kill her, or they were not killing her in the first place. But the point is, she left the town, they thought she's gone for good, and now she's back. Now, I also noticed that the sound of the camera is obnoxiously loud. But it is what it is. Now, there are... Charles Roberts. Okay. Hang on. Charles Roberts. Okay, so we have a bunch of your diaries. Magdalene Roberts, mother of Charles, dies at age 68. Hospital reports heart attack as main cause of death. Probably due to the medication that was supplied by Vivian. Magdalene Roberts passed away last night at the age of 68. She was visiting her son, Charles Roberts, in Painscreek when her heart failed. Dorothy Patterson, a maid working at the mansion, knocked on Magdalene's door at 7 AM. Since there was no answer, she assumed Magdalene was still sleeping. It was only 2 hours later, when Magdalene still did not respond to her knocking, that she realized something was wrong. She called Bernard Hopkins, the mansion butler, who came and opened the room to find Magdalene lying on the bed. She wasn't breathing. He immediately called 911. Dr. Johnson, the family doctor and head of Painscreek Community Hospital, arrived at the mansion at around 9:30 AM and pronounced Magdalene Roberts dead. According to Dr. Johnson, Magdalene Roberts probably had a heart attack sometime in the middle of the night. More accurate diagnoses are yet to be determined, but Magdalene's death was most probably the result of high blood pressure and old age. Reported on 27 August 75 when she died. Yep, exactly. That checks out. Now what is that? June 16, 1975. Dear Charles, I received a letter from Dorothy yesterday. She told me everything. What have you done, my son? Does Vivian know? Have you even considered the consequences of your actions? And what of this Sophia? What will you do with her? You made a mistake and you need to take responsibility for what you have done. Do you understand? You cannot take her as your wife, you already have one. This scandal cannot be publicly known. It will destroy your political career. However, the child is important. He is your flesh and blood and might be the son you need to properly continue the family. I am now preparing to visit you. Do not say anything to Vivian yet. I will take care of it when I arrive. So yeah, Magdalene... Okay, it was Dorothy the housemaid that knew about the affair. Maybe because she was also working with Sophia, so they talked it out and they found out. It was June 16. So in Dorothy's diary there is a note when Sophia asked what does it mean to be loved, and I wonder if this was roughly the date when the child was conceived. And yeah, she finds the child important. She does not give a hoot about Sophia, unfortunately. The child. To properly continue the family and stuff. Ooh, important. June 11, 74. I definitely need to follow my timeline to understand where I was standing. Oh, that's the day that Trisha is, yeah, okay, he actually says that. Okay. But that just says that my timeline is correct over there. Yes, that is the date when the Trisha was born. June 11, 74. Our baby daughter's born today. We've named her Trisha. Vivian had to go through a C-section. Yep. I'm just glad that both mother and child are safe, and I thank God for that. I feel so happy to have a baby in the family. There's no words to express the joy I'm feeling inside. At the same time, I'm worried of what mother might say once she knows that the baby is a girl. August 16, 74. Vivian is being hospitalized for the second time in a year. The first time was for the C-section. This time for mental instability. Dr. Johnson told me not to visit her until she has stabilized and ready to receive me. What can I do? Mom wants a boy, but it's not safe for Vivian to be pregnant anymore. Sometimes I feel lost, not knowing what to do. Mostly, I just feel lonely. November 16. I never thought this would happen. Whenever Sophia is babysitting Trisha, she would listen to everything I have to say. I have to say? I could express myself candidly. Never once did she question the decisions I made. It made me feel like she understands me. I found comfort in her, both spiritually and physically. Just never thought I would have a relationship with her. What should I do now? So is that when you made a baby? July 6th. I have a name for our child. He will be called Vincent Roberts. I will add him to my will. Sophia seems to be hiding as well as she can from Vivian, even I have not seen her in these last 2 days. I wonder where she could be. Thus, July 6, 75. Do I have anything around that date? Oh, that's definitely after the affair has been revealed. So, did Vivian already do something? Let's check the dates in Dorothy's diary. So this is November 74 and he says he had a relationship. November 74. Yes, and it was September 24. I like that it's the same person, but you can choose the dates. That is nice. And it's also nice that they have 1995-1. Cool. No, it's September 73. And that was November 74. When was Scott born? I mean, we have his date, right? 1st June 75. So 9 months ago, that would make it around September 74. July 6th, 75. That's the date the squad is born. Cool. No. That's a month later. 6 months is June, is it not? 7 July, 8 August. Yes. So that is exactly 1 month after Scott is born. So Scott is born in June, and Vivian learns about the affair somewhere around June 18. So roughly 2 weeks after Scott is born. Okay. Cool. But funny that this is 74-2. I assume this is 74-1 then. Yeah, okay. Vivian hasn't spoken much since she was discharged from the hospital. Dr. Johnson said she was fully healed, but it will take some time for her to adjust back to her old rhythm. I feel our relationship is deteriorating as or has suffered permanently in some way. June 17. Damn it, it's too many dates. I mean, I have a timeline, but I need to constantly consult it to understand when Trisha was born and Vivian was hospitalized and stuff. So again, Trisha is born in 74. Why is this one from May 74? Shortly before Trisha is born. I only hope that my mother's passion for a grandson will not affect Vivian's love for Trisha. I hope that she does not hold any resentment towards mother. Boom! That was so backfire, man. He will absolutely certainly not like it. So we can go back to Anne's courtyard, or we can go to the Bernard's house. I suggest we start with the courtyard. Oh boy. There are roughly two time periods when a lot of stuff has happened in just a short period of time. Year 74, 75 probably, because that's when Trisha was born, when Scott was born, Sophia went away, Vivian killed Magdalene, and that all of that shebang. And then of course year 95, when suddenly everybody decided to die in this city. Vivian is murdered, Scott passes away, Trisha passes away. Let's see. This is our Stephen Moss. What do we have in here? Yo, shitting me. Painscreek Community Hospital. 2nd April 97. Way after the hospital is closed, by the way. Somebody stayed there? I know about this thing, I just don't know. The code is Calvin's date of birth. Calvin? Who the is Calvin? So this is, oh shit. Confession Walker. Calvin's date of birth. Fine. Where can I find the key? This is some sort of a basement, I think, judging by the boiler in the end. Some sort of cross-shaped indentation. Luckily, I don't have anything like that. Steve Moss. Bernard Hopkins. Father died in mine accident. He was at home the day Vivian was killed. No alibi. That is super important. Okay. Interview with Dorothy, interview with Mary tomorrow at Moon Cafe. Meeting with sheriff at the outpost at 10 AM on May 11. He mentioned wanting to show me some files. I found a hidden panel in the inn's reception area. It's part of the counter. It's hard to pop open. The latch is placed at one of the corners. There's some interesting stuff they hide in there. Okay. And another one of them Holy Bibles. Okay, Mr. Stephen Moss. reception area, corner. Huh. What? Maybe I'm looking at some wrong corner? Hmm. Hidden panel in the inn's reception area. It is part of the counter. The latch is placed at one of the corners. So this is the inn and this is the reception area. It's part of the counter. Does this texture look different to you? When I will find the switch, we will all love how I missed this obvious clue all this time, right? You know, when you have drawers, and I have a bunch of corners. Ah shit, this texture is also slightly different. It's part of the counter. Which counter? Eh? Yo. Okay. Logbook. March 20, 1997. That's roughly when Steven arrives, right? There's a private investigator in town by the name of Steve Moss. Rumor has it that someone hired him to investigate Vivian's death after the police ceased their own search. It's a tragedy that Vivian's murder case was never solved. April 9. I saw Matthew today while he was cleaning the church. He looked thinner than he used to be. We talked for a bit. He told me that he will be leaving Painscreek soon as his services won't be needed here anymore. I think the recent deaths in Painscreek affected him tremendously, not to mention the tragedy that befell his adopted son, Scott. Even now no one knows what really happened. None of the cases were ever solved. Sometimes I wonder if Scott did kill Vivian, or was he just unfortunate and wrongly accused? April 14. Mr. Moss came by today. He decided to question me, see if I know anything he hadn't already learned. I told him everything I legally could. When asked how his investigation went, he said something about an incident that happened in 1975, which might just be the breakthrough that he needed. As he left, I could not help but wonder if he had anything to do with the mansion maid who left Painscreek. So whose journal is that? Could be... Well, it's a logbook, right? So it might be... yeah. So we don't really know. And I assume that will be the one, right? Okay, and then Mr. Moss also points me to Mr. Hopkins, Bernard Hopkins, 31 Silver Lake Boulevard. 31 Silver Lake Boulevard. No, the other way. Yo, I can just break into every car, right? The question is, of course, why? But that is a secondary question when you actually can break into every car. It's one of them behind houses, eh? 30. Why don't you have a number on you? Anyway. 31. Silver Lake Boulevard. Let's see what Bernard has to say. People just all drink the same wine in this town, eh? What are those drugs? What were you taking? That's a bunch of drugs. I mean, of course it could be something harmless like aspirin or paracetamol. Hunting trophies, obviously. It's locked and I cannot open it. Okay. Okay, all of that is all okay. A war veteran? And of course you're a hunter. The untold story. Vivian Roberts is well known for her success as a businesswoman in the 20th century. What most people did not know was that her seemingly overnight success was a 30-year journey that defied everything that she was told to believe in. Vivian was the first and only person in her family to graduate college. By her mid-20s, she left a highly paid job to start a controversial company. She then met her husband, Charles Roberts, with whom she dedicated her life. She helped transform the Roberts family business and supported Charles during his mayoral election in the mid-70s. She also started the Roberts Relief Foundation for the poor and initiated medical research programs for the sick, which resulted in Painscreek Community Hospital becoming one of the best rehab centers for the elderly in the nation. This is the story of a young woman who came from a humble beginning and became the most respected and loved person in the town of Painscreek. Autobiography, I presume. Why did Bernard have her book? Just casual reading, or there is more to that? Okay. What does that one do? No clue. Man. We have a duct. Okay. Okay. That is cool. AOL password. Study room locked desk hint. Subtract the yellow dots points from the red dots total. Aunt, Aunt Cecilia's apartment code. Will you write that down? No, you will not. Study room locked desk hint. Subtract the yellow dots points from the red dots total. What in the world? The only dart sport I've ever seen was in courtyard. So is that? I mean, this is a 4-digit number. January 3rd, 1994. 2 weeks ago, Scott came to me and asked about Sophia. I was surprised he knew about someone who used to work here 20 years ago. I told him that she was once a maid that worked here, but after a few years she decided to leave the village. Today I commented about the conversation to Vivian. She asked if Scott had said or asked anything else since then. I could see she felt uneasy. She told me to keep an eye on him. I find all this very unsettling. January 19. Derek doesn't seem too willing to drive for Vivian. I don't think a 5-day trip is that long. Charles often had trips longer than that, and Derek never seemed to mind them. Now that I think about it, Derek is unusually quiet when Vivian is around. He doesn't even look at her. It's like he's avoiding her. I wonder why. Derek is our chauffeur, right? Yes. And his mom had cancer, so perhaps that is why he was not too fancy on the long trips away from mother. But maybe he knew something about events of 70s. Derek was hired, let me see. Derek was hired in the 90s, but he was born in the 70s. Well, his mother was hired in 72. So maybe the mother told him something, spilled some tea. That's a question to ponder. Derek avoids Vivian. Why? February 20th. I've noticed Vivian has been getting increasingly paranoid whenever she sees Scott, to the point of being upset by his presence. She asked Charles to have someone replace Scott, but Charles kept him. He likes the boy. Maybe those hunting trips really bonded them. March 2nd, 1994. It's Dad's death anniversary today. I can't believe it's already been more than 2 decades. I visited his grave in the morning. His tombstone is full of fallen leaves. Looks like autumn has started. Mom's tombstone is covered with leaves too. I read today's newspaper and updated him on the things that happened here recently. As I sat there talking, I wondered if he could hear me. Will I just spend the rest of my life serving Charles and Vivian until I die? What will people remember me for? April 29. I saw Scott and Trisha today. They looked happy. I almost envy them. I think my chance at ever having a relationship with someone is over. What would my life be if I had accepted Angela? I don't think we would have been happy. She wasn't my type anyhow. Who is my type then? Vivian? I don't know. Okay, so that at least explains the book. So the guy was stricken by Vivian and maybe envied Charles a little bit. Ooh, I wonder if that was the crime of passion. Like, so all of that happens, and the dude asks questions about his relationship, about his life, about the love in his life, and eventually maybe he gets courage to get up to Vivian and like, hey, I'm kinda into you. And maybe she laughs at his face, so he's like, how about a wrench in the face? But then why would you drag the body outside for display? Also, I don't know exactly how she died. What was the cause of death? Mr. Hopkins. Who is your dad? I don't know anybody else with the surname Hopkins. Aunt Cecilia, apartment code. Aunt Cecilia. Who is Aunt? This is a sister of your parent, right? Somebody named Cecilia. Can we recheck the cemetery? That apartment gave me a bunch of codes, and I have no idea how to use them. Huh. Okay. So, Hopkins family. There is also like this section of the cemetery that I cannot access yet. This is like really seems like a family, a Roberts dedicated grounds. At least to some extent, because there are a few Roberts, like Magdalene is like the biggest grave here, of course. This is the doctor, the maid. Anyway. But then why Trisha is here and Vivian is here? What the heck? Jonathan Hopkins. Would you look at that? 1920 to 1973. Yeah, okay. This is Victoria Hopkins. But nobody is called Cecilia over here. It's also interesting that the only tombstone with particular dates is Scott's. So I feel like I need to look for the cabin where the dude was hiding. And I for some reason think that this is maybe down the battle lane. Because it's not like somewhere over here. Like those are houses, those are not cabins. Cabin is something separate, something that stands aside. Also, on the side of the church there was a numbering 1203. I wonder if that has anything to do with anything. Oh, this is the playground. This is where the kid went missing. My equipment will get wet. Hold it above your head then. Yeah, duh. You cannot crawl under the thing? Come on. Alright, well, at the very least it seems like we found the cabin. And the well, you know which one. Coolio. Get more firewood, give Trisha my spare cabin key, fix Mrs. Pattinson's sink, visit Andrew at the hospital, check hospital for missing tools. So assume that this cabin was used by Scott, right? Like last I know is that he retrieved to the cabin after his tense talk with Vivian, and he left claiming that he did not kill her. He retrieved to the cabin, and maybe he was planning to later visit Andrew and check the hospital. When did Andrew die? Andrew died in November 95, right? No, that's Scott. He died in June 95. And Vivian is killed later. So what gives? Yeah, that does not entirely match up. I'm not sure why. I can't exactly pin when this note. Well, obviously, it's not obvious, but it seems to me logical to assume that the note was put before Andrew passed away. Anyway. Well, hello, beauty. Shitballs, it said something. Chest box. Scott's things in the church. Okay. Sunday, February 14, 1993, Valentine's Day. I wanted to spend the day with Trisha, but Charles invited me to go hunting. I was nervous. Not because it's my first time hunting, but because it's with Trisha's dad. It turned out that I actually enjoyed being with him. I feel comfortable talking to him. June 18, 1993. I don't get it. Why would Father Matthew forbid me to be with Trisha? Is it because I'm not rich? Or because I'm an orphan? He didn't explain anything to me. Maybe he doesn't love me anymore? I feel so confused. I think Matthew is onto something. So Matthew forbids Scott and Trisha. Why? Question mark. June 22nd. We quarreled again today. I couldn't stand Father Matthew's preaching attitude, so I yelled back at him. I know I shouldn't have done that, but I'm so frustrated. Father Matthew said I'm not an orphan. What does that mean? Does he know who my parents are? I pressed him to keep talking, but he wouldn't tell me anything after that. I need to know more. July 31st. In these past weeks, it has become more difficult for me to talk to Father Matthew. Whenever we speak, he addresses only church stuff. I've realized that I'm starting to avoid Father Matthew. Whenever he asks me how my day was, I don't feel like answering him. When I ask him about my past, he's always trying to change the subject. I feel so frustrated. I've moved out of the church. September 2nd, okay. Father Matthew did not object, although he looked a bit sad. Mr. Roberts was kind enough to let me stay at his cabin if I'm willing to work for him as an assistant gardener. That way, the mansion garden can still be well maintained even when Andrew cannot make it. It's been November 3rd. It's been a month since Charles gave me this cabin to stay. It's been a month. It does not check out. I mean, you are saying that you moved out of the church in September, but you claim that Charles gave you a cabin in October. What has been in this month? I still don't know where to start my investigation. Andrew has been drinking. Bernard asked me to bring him home today. Whenever he's drunk, he accuses himself, saying that he's a sinner. Sometimes he would mutter names that I've never heard of. Of all the names, I think I only recognized Magdalene. I just can't remember where I heard that name before. I just returned from the orphanage and found out that it was Father Calvin who brought me there. The record sheet stated that I was from Painscreek. Wow! If I was born in Painscreek, there must be records of me in the hospital, but I've checked. There's none. I broke into Father Matthew's bedroom today. I shouldn't have done that, but he might have had something that could tell me about my birth parents. He didn't have anything relevant. November 20th. Andrew is drunk again. This is the 5th time I had to bring him home and then cover his shift. It's getting quite annoying. As I laid him down on the bed, he muttered repeatedly, "I'm so sorry, Sophia." Who is Sophia? And that is how Scott hears this name, and then he just keeps poking at it. Master carpentry. Daniel Jackson works as a master carpenter, concludes the working with wood series in his final work, Master Carpentry. Here you will learn how to craft the most complex structures with just wood, create puzzles, hidden doors, and hide secrets in plain sight with Jackson techniques. This is not a book for beginners, so prepare to test your skills and see if you have what it takes to be a master carpenter. That feels like I am in a world of pain, because now this dude will hide stuff everywhere and I will not notice it unless it's spoken explicitly in one of the diaries. So, master carpentry. I am absolutely convinced that there is a secret lever or secret door that we can somehow utilize. Like, why is this darker? It's a bit sus, don't you think? Maybe this chair is sus. Hmm. Well, anyway, I have a key to his chest, so I can go and check this one out. So, if we assume that one of the missing girls was headed back to home by Sophia, then it could be that Sophia lived in the cabin and like she was walking in the woods or something and helped the girl find her way back home. That would mean that Scott not only managed to find out about his past and establish that Sophia is his mother, but also find Sophia herself. I'm just trying to find some maybe a shortcut towards the church. What is that all about? Why is it here? Key to the basement. St. Patrick Orphanage, February 2nd, 1994. Dear Scott, I'm Sister Rachel. Although I wasn't here when you last came, I hope you remember me. I was your nursing mother after you arrived here those years ago. I understand that you came here earlier to find out how you came to be at St. Patrick's Orphanage. On July 4th, 1975, Father Calvin came to us holding a basket with you in it. He said that you'd lost your parents and there is no one to take care of you. He told us that your name was Scott. After he left, Sister Emma asked if I would be willing to take care of a baby. At first I hesitated because it was a huge responsibility. But when I saw your face so full of innocence and curiosity, I felt as if God himself had delivered you to me. I accepted the task. When you were 10, Father Matthew came to see you. He had just become the head priest of Painscreek Trinity Church. He visited often, usually at the beginning of the month. Whenever he left, he would leave an envelope containing a small sum of money. He said it was for everything you needed and that whatever was left was then given to the orphanage. I would be lying to say that I wasn't sad when you left it, but when Father Matthew adopted you, I believed that your life would be better in Painscreek than here, and I dearly hope it's so. Everything enclosed with the package used to be yours. I think you should have these. May God bless you. Sister Rachel Davis. My Baby Boy, 1975. Blanket with moon and stars. November 30th, 1993. I asked Andrew about Sophia. First, he freaked out, saying that I shouldn't go around speaking that name. Then he said he had never heard that name in his life. Is he hiding something? Why would he lie about Sophia? This makes me want to know who Sophia is even more. December 2nd. I asked Wanda if she knew anything about Sophia. She said Sophia used to work as a maid in the mansion for a few years until she was let go. When asked why, Wanda said she didn't know. However, she thought that Sophia was a manipulative woman that would do anything to get what she wanted. Wanda resented that. This is an interesting characterization of Sophia because, obviously, due to what happened to her and her child, I view her as a victim. What if Sophia purposefully seduced Charles and intentionally tried to buy a child from him so that she would get into that household not as a maid, or maybe to give better life for a child. December 8th. I met Derek today and asked if he knew anyone by the name of Sophia. Apparently he's not on speaking terms with me. I wonder if it has anything to do with Trisha. Well, Derek is yeah, I mean, I think Derek liked Trisha, maybe had some feelings to her, for her, because Derek is just 5 years older than Trisha, or 4 years, right? They are roughly in the same age gap. They were growing together, roughly, so could be. December 15th. During today's lunch break, I asked Bernard if he knew about Sophia. He was surprised that I knew that name, but proceeded to say he didn't know her that well. Somehow I feel uncomfortable whenever I talk with Bernard. His cold gaze gives me the shivers. I met Dorothy while tending to the garden and asked her about Sophia. She looked confused. She was curious as to where I heard that name. I told her it came from Andrew. She kindly explained that Sophia was a close friend of hers when Sophia first came to work for the Roberts family. Unfortunately, she had an affair with Charles when Vivian was hospitalized. Shortly after, she left Painscreek. No one has heard of her ever since. Dorothy thinks that Sophia has probably started a new life in another place. I wonder if the affair was the reason everyone's quiet about it. I wonder indeed. The basement is this basement, right? It's just... key to a basement. It belongs to Scott, but I cannot open this basement. So that's our first conundrum. What basement? There was no basement in the mansion. But what basement are we talking about? would make so much sense if that would have been this basement, but I do not see any lock on here. I mean, I could think about Scott's cabin. Can I double check his cabin? There was indeed a window almost on the ground level. There was a locked door in his cabin. That might have been stairs to the basement. My spider sense is tingling. Public hunting area. Cool. Here's the cabin. Like, you can see that there is the foundation and there is this window over here. I mean, there is also this entire door on the back of the building. We generally do need to check for the windows and stuff. I think this window and this window checks out, but like the other door... Oh, it's just blocked by... and there is a window. Okay, so that all checks out. So that is the part that does not check out. Yes! Well, freaking hello there. And we have yet another diary of Scott. And this is nice. What's not nice is that I am now... I'm convinced that you put a crucifix and then you pull on the thing, and then it opens. The thing is, I don't have his crucifix. Could it be that it's still in his room? No. Anyway, I will stop over here. We will keep reading Scott's diary. I will also go over the footage of me in his room in the church to see if maybe I can spot a crucifix anywhere. Maybe I indeed missed it. I don't know. Yeah, so far quite a lot of stuff matches with my expectations and my understanding of events in the 70s, which of course does not explain anything what happened in the 90s. But baby steps, right? You figure out the background, how these people lived, what worried them, and maybe I can deduce what happened in the 90s? I don't know. We shall see a bit later. For now, thank you for staying with me. I hope you enjoy my company and my gameplay, and if that's the case, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, let me know down in the comments what I can improve for you. I hope to see you next time. Have a nice day out there, and bye.